So this is a demonstration of the Alexander technique. It's a first session, so the pupil has had no lessons before, and I'm going to demonstrate a typical first Alexander lesson, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find it valuable. So tell me, have you got any particular reasons you want to try out Alexander? Anything that bothers?
Nothing in particular, but Dan has talked about it a lot, so I wanted to try. It just sounded pretty amazing. So, yeah.
What particularly sounded interesting and amazing?
Just the relaxing.
Yes. Yeah. Could you do with a bit of that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Anything that hurts? Anything that's painful?
Just generally speaking.
Yes. Necks, head, back,
Nothing.
Wrists.
No.
No major areas of tension.
Pains and things.
Little niggles.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are they normally?
Right now in my head.
Like headache?
Yeah.
Is that a stress type of headache that you get often?
I woke with it. So
You work it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the deal is this. I'm going to guide you with my hands. You haven't had any Alexander before, I gather.
No.
Okay.
Like practice sessions.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to guide you with my hands. You can't make any mistakes.
Okay.
I can. So it's up to me to deliver the goods, and I will guide you and I will explain to you what I require from you at different points during the session. Okay, and we'll do a mixture of movement work, which will be sitting, standing, maybe going onto your toes, maybe a little bit of walking, and then we'll do some table work as well. Okay? Anything to ask me before we start?
No, I'm good.
All right, wonderful. Okay, what we'll do is we'll start you standing, and you can look out of the window. So you start standing here, and you can look out there into the view, and you have your feet a little wider apart for now. And the stool is going to be behind you, and it'll stay behind you, so you don't have to worry about not hitting the chair if you sit down. Okay, I'll leave the chair just behind you, and the first thing I do is I move your head. Yeah, and in order for me to move your head, what sort of condition do you think you might require in your neck?
Flexibility.
Yes, flexibility. In other words, if your neck is very, very stiff, I wouldn't be able to move your head. And the freer your neck is, the more mobile this whole area is going to be, and I can move your head anywhere. I could move your head upwards and downwards, I can move it to the side, and I can rotate it. So you said relaxation was something you quite like, and what do you reckon happens to the neck when you're not relaxed?
Well, it's very stiff.
It gets stiff, right. So when the neck is freer, you would also experience a greater level of relaxation. The two things would go together. So you could say that on a mental level, you'll be relaxed at the same time that the neck is more free, because the mind and the body in Alexander are very connected. It's part of the same thing called being human. Okay, so I'm going to move you here and here. Now here's a difficult question, even though it's early on in the session. What sort of brain do you think you require in order to allow me to move your head? In order to allow me to move, do you think, what sort of attitude do you think you require in order for me to be able to move your head anywhere?
Surrender.
Surrender. I couldn't have come up with a better word. How come you came up with such an amazing word, Suki? Where's that idea from?
I just thought.
Well, it makes absolute sense. And I would say if you understand the idea of surrender, you've already understood the whole of the Alexander technique. So surrender being in control, essentially. Surrender fighting and pushing and pulling. Surrender forcing things. Surrender even trying to relax. Surrender. That quality of leaving yourself alone, in this instance, for me to move you. Okay? Yeah. And you can keep on seeing things out of the window. And now I want your hips to come backwards, and you can bend the knees. That's it, all the way. Exactly. I won't take the chair away. And hold yourself there for a while. So still with surrender, I'll take you backwards. Still with surrender, I'll take you forwards. Still with surrender. So right now you're not rushing out of a chair in control, are you? You're still surrendering to the movement of my hands. And here, that's it. And I'm going to take you further forwards. And now I'm going to take you backwards. So who's the mover? Who's moving you backwards and forwards right now?
You.
Yes. And you're not initiating the movement, are you?
No.
And that's another attitude of surrender. You're still surrendering me being the mover and you're the allower. Okay? You're allowing me to move you with an attitude of surrender, of letting me be in control of the movement. And it's the same thing as things get more complicated. I don't want you to control getting out of a chair. All I want from you right now is to stand up using your feet, your heels. That's it. Fine. And I'll move you again. And now I want you to go onto the tip of your toes. And now down to your heels. Stop. And now leave your head there. And now leave it there. And now take the hips back and the chair is there. The stool is there. Bend the knees. And at the stool, stop. And then wait there. Let the head be there. Now let the head be even further. And then stand up with the heels. That's it. And then bend the knees again. Yes. And stop there. And then stand up with the heels. That's fine. Stay on your heels again. Come all the way down to your heels. That's fine. Yeah, yes. And I'm going to move your head more. I'm going to move it over to the left. And if something's not easy or is confusing, just ask me, okay? There's no wrong time to ask a question. I'm going to move your arms. You're going to surrender or give up on any idea of where your arms need to go because I'm going to move them. That's right. And then when I let go, the arms just fall to your sides. And you'll find it gets easier and easier to give me control of the movement of your arms. At the beginning, it's rather difficult to give up control of heads and arms, but it gets progressively easier as time goes by. And I'm going to move your head over to the right and then down. And there's no right position for your head anyway. Now take the hips backwards and bend the knees. All the way to the stool, and stop there. Wait there in space. And now stand up again. And then bend the knees again. And stop at the stool. Wait. And wait there. And then heels. And then bend the knees again. And then at the stool, stop. When you get there, wait there. Yes? Wait. And you're not preparing to come back and sit in the chair properly. You're not preparing to jump out of the chair. Stand up again. And then bend the knees again. At the stool, stop. And then heels. And then bend the knees again. And then stop. And wait. And then stand up again. And then bend the knees again. And then stop. And wait. Let me move your head here. And here. And here. That's it. And then stand up again. And then bend the knees again. So we're going to repeat this movement for a little while, and then heels, and then bend the knees. What does the movement feel like at the moment, Suki? Heels.
It's quite fluid.
Fluid, right. More fluid than before. So when you say fluid, what are you comparing the experience of fluid to? Everyday life, or how you were 5 or 6 minutes ago?
How I was learning.
Exactly. So you can feel that you're becoming more fluid in the session right now. Okay. And wait. And heels. And then bend the knees. How do you know you're more fluid? Where do you feel more fluid?
Thinking about it.
Exactly. You're not thinking hard about it. You're not stressing about it. So it's just happening. And back to your surrender idea, you're letting the movement happen without thinking too much about it. So who's doing the movement? Well, obviously you're doing your own movements. You're sitting and standing, but without making a big effort about it. So you could say that your brain is different. What condition is your brain in right now compared to when it wasn't so fluid? What condition is your mind or brain in right now compared to...
I guess the surrender thing.
Exactly, the surrender thing. The surrender thing. That's it, and stop. And then wait there, and stop. And then heels into the ground. That's it, and then bend the knees. And then heels. That's it, and stop. That's the surrender thing. Now take the hips back and bend the knees again. And then stop. And wait. Wait, and wait, and wait. Excellent. I'll take you backwards. That's it. So your brain is in a different condition, and that makes things more fluid. That's your experience, isn't it? So when your brain is in a certain condition, your body's in a different condition too. And it always goes together. Let me take you a bit further forwards. That's fine. Now I'm going to take you back again. And so the whole of the Alexander technique is to learn to have a condition of mind and body freedom, or relaxation, or surrender in everyday activities, whatever you're up to. Whether you're working, sitting, standing, doing sports, just sitting, doesn't matter, talking to people, that you want to be at peak performance. You want to have a mind and body condition of ease rather than strain and stress that sometimes might lead to headaches and discomfort. Okay. What's it like to have a mind that's more surrendered right now? Is it weird? And then stand up with the heels.
Well, it's relaxing.
It's relaxing, yes. Bend the knees, that's fine, all the way. And then heels. And my job is to teach you how to get back to this relaxation, surrender mind without me. That's the purpose of lessons, is to navigate yourself into this condition of mind-body ease in the day, in an average day. Okay, let me take you further forwards again, and then that's it. And my job right now is to stop you jumping out of your skin. Could you feel how you were raring to go? Yeah, do you recognize that mind that's raring to go? You know, the London mind. So this London mind, I want to help you with, to not charge and jump out of your skin and tighten your neck and become very non-fluid. And that's my responsibility now. I have to give that with my hands so that you have an experience right this very second of not jumping out of the chair and giving yourself a whiplash. Okay? So here you go, stand up with the heels. That's fine. And then bend the knees again. And then drop the chin for a little while. And be there for a while in a rather strange position. And now wait. And then heels. And then bend the knees again. And then stop there. And then heels, and then bend the knees again, and stop there, and then heels. That's it. And then walk around a little bit. That's it. Quite quickly, you can walk to the mirror and then back to the stool again. That's fine. Yeah, and then look out of the window. Feet quite wide. Make life easier on your legs. And I'm going to take you onto your toes with the same condition, and then down to the heels, and wait there, and then onto the toes again, same condition, down to the heels, and then onto the toes, and then down to the heels, and onto the toes, and then down to the heels, and stop, and then bend the knees. That's it, and then wait there. Good. And then stand up with the heels. And then bend the knees. And then stop and wait. That's it. I'm going to move your head to make it a bit easier not to get ready. Not to, you know, that preparation brain. Mm-hmm. And I'll move you here and stop, and I'll move you here and here, here and here. I'm going to move you here and here. Now you remember that little preparation brain that you had before, I called the London brain. You might get a sense that you're not jumping out of your skin right now. Can you get a feeling of that? What's it like when you don't jump out of the skin, when you don't prepare to stand and tighten everything? What's that like? What does it feel like?
It's like less tension.
Correct. How do you know that? Do you feel that in different parts of your body, or is it more of a mental thing of less tension?
I think you feel it because you're not preparing.
Right.
But also mentally.
Yes. So the feeling of not preparing, you feel the absence of this preparation thing, and on a mental level you feel more...
Yeah, it's almost like predatory, you know? Like
yes. We are predatory. Humans are predatory, and London makes us a bit more predatory. So the whole purpose of Alexander lessons is to minimize this very normal predatory kind of jumpiness and readiness for the next emergency round the corner, an adrenal fight-flight response. Have you heard of flight-fight?
Yeah.
We're just ready for the next emergency. And in London, they happen every 5 seconds, so there's quite a few of them. And so you're not going to change London, but the Alexander technique can change the way you cope with London, cope with life, by helping the predatory part of the brain, that flight-fight pattern of hurries and worries and pushes and pulls, to drop it all the way back down into what you experience as fluidity and relaxation. And that can be part of your normal everyday your behavior, rather than the dominance of the predatory preparation pattern that can cause trouble. Breathing or digestion or necks and backs or eyesight or behaviors. It can be quite toxic. And in Alexander, you want to be coming off that button. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think my life's very much like that.
Well, join the club. It's normal stuff. Okay, I'm going to take you further forwards, and that's it. And you're not helping me right now. You're just there, and you're not preparing. That flight-fight brain is now out of commission. Nothing and nothing and nothing and nothing. So my hands are giving you a load of nothing. The more nothing, the better. The more nothing, the better. Wait there and breathe. And then stand up with the heels again. That's fine. And then bend the knees again. I've got your head. I'm going to move your head over here now. And now I'm going to move your chin all the way down. And then even there. Nothing happens here. And then stand up with the heels. Yeah, good. And now I'm going to take an arm. Same thing here. Look, you can look straight out the window. And I've got the weight of the arm. That's it. And I'm going to take this arm right now. Any questions coming in?
What, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay. It's quite simple. In a way, to be an Alexander pupil shouldn't really be confusing, because it's not very much you have to understand. You experience rather than understand. So it's not like you have to learn lots of knowledge about necks or backs or anatomy and physiology. You have to have an experience that you are right now of deep relaxation or surrender and the fluidity of the body that goes hand in hand. And as long as you have that experience, you will learn to look after yourself in a much healthier way. Now, another little while of sitting, standing. My hands are here. What would you say the hands are saying to you? What are they saying to your neck and back and to you?
Like to trust them.
To trust. Perfect. Perfect. The hands are saying, trust, you're okay, you're safe. Very, very important ingredients in order to move towards deep relaxation. Trust and you're okay. and you don't have to change anything. Now, that's fine, let the head move again, and take your hips back and bend the knees. And at the stool, stop and wait. And that's it. You haven't jumped out of your skin right now, have you? You're just there, you're fine. And all it takes to maintain that fluidity is to stand up with the heels. That's it. And then bend the knees again. And then heels. And then bend the knees again. And then wait and heels. And then bend the knees again. What do the movements feel like right now, Suki? Bend the knees.
Fluid again.
Fluid again, I agree. Very fluid. Now walk around. All the way to the mirror this time. And then all the way back again. Yeah. Good. Okay, what we're going to do right now is you're going to take your shoes off and we're going to do some table work to take you even deeper into relaxation and fluidity. Okay? So we'll have you on here, shoes off, and we'll have your head this side. So you get yourself onto the table, into the middle of it, and then right into the center. That's perfect. And I'm going to help you all the way down onto these books. That's fine. I've got the weight of your head. Now, in a way, it's going to be the same principle as what we were doing before. You're surrendering your control, and I'm going to move you. So I'll move an arm, I might move a leg. And you're out of the way, really, and you can keep your eyes open so it connects to your waking consciousness rather than you're about to go to sleep. Okay. And now I'm going to lift up your back. It's the same principle. I'm going to do all the hard work. I'm lifting and then I'm going to drop. I'm going to lift your back and drop. Lift the back and drop. What did you feel happened to the back when it lifted and dropped? You might notice something around here, this area. So what I noticed was it got closer to the table. That the gap here has just reduced. So you're more connected here, this area of your back, more connected to the table. And don't do anything here, that's it. Yeah. And the knees are just gently left there without falling in necessarily or falling out. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to lift up all your back, I'm just going to lift up a left shoulder. And eyes open if you can. And now I'm going to lift up your leg, and it can straighten, and I'm going to lift it. Yeah. How easy are you finding it to leave yourself alone like this?
It's getting easier.
Yeah. Do you get that? It's getting progressively easier as a result of the work you're doing.
Yeah. I'm like probably be a control freak, so it's...
You're a control freak. Well, that's human nature too.
Yeah.
You have to join the club. We're all control freaks. Yeah. But you're right. We're all control freaks, and therefore it's hard to give up on wanting to be in control of necks and heads and arms and legs. But progressively, in the last half an hour or so, you've more and more managed to give up on control, or being a control freak.
Yeah, I can feel it.
You can feel it. How can you feel that you're less of a control freak now than half an hour ago?
I'm not trying to control, obviously, movements and things, but I'm also, I guess, trusting you.
Correct. So your trust has grown.
Yeah.
You're noticing that you're not helping me so much with arms and legs and heads. Yes. And so you know that you've come off the control freak button. So when you say you're a control freak, it's not so simple as this defines you forever and all time. It's a tendency of being human to be in control or being a control freak. But what you're experiencing is that it can soften. And when it softens, the brain changes. And then you have a deeper sense of whatever. What's the experience like when you're not a control freak? What's it like lying there in this condition?
Well, you feel more at ease, I think.
More at ease, yes. Ease is also a great word, isn't it? So it's relaxation. But also at ease, ease within your skin, ease within yourself. It's an interesting word, ease. There's ease and dis-ease, if you think about it. And it really tells you everything you need to know about ease. Ease is a wonderful thing to aspire to. And you could say that everyone that comes to Alexander, on some level, has an experience of being not at ease. And they can come for neck problems or lower back problems, hip problems, digestive problems, eyesight, breathing difficulties, performance issues. It doesn't matter. Some level of unease or dis-ease that is created by the predatory brain, the overly rushing brain. And you can sort out the symptom with a pill or a hot bath or a nice holiday maybe, if you're lucky. Or you can go for the cause of the problem, which is the brain's habits of being predatory or on guard, ready for the next emergency, for instance. And if you can deal with that, and the brain manages to drop into a different quality, like you are now, into this surrender quality, then a lot of the symptoms that come from the effortful brain subside. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
That's the way round that Alexander works. It doesn't cure problems specifically, but removes the reasons why you might have problems in the first place.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, but I work in emergencies. So
Yes.
Yeah, so I just wonder...
Right, so if you work in emergencies, whether it's medical emergencies or social emergencies, as often we do, that tends to provoke an emergency response. And what you're learning is to be able to be in emergency situations or more demanding situations, but the nervous system can remain undisturbed. And that's learning. It's not a decision. You can't say, you know what, from now on I'm not going to get upset by emergencies. It doesn't happen, because you'll go out there and you'll still be Suki. But as a result of having Alexander sessions, the way that you deal with emergencies will be much more like this, the way you are now, compared to the way that you know yourself in emergencies, which is getting more frantic, which leads to headaches and neck aches and back aches and all the rest of it. And that's learnable. Why is it learnable? Because that's also part of being human. We're not just control freaks. We're also designed to recover. We're designed to be peaceful as well. We're not just designed to be in emergency zones. So yes, emergencies come along and hopefully you'll be less disturbed by them. When real emergencies happen, you'll be fired and wired and you'll recover more quickly. It's not that you're not going to react and be ready with necessary adrenaline, but it won't be defining you for the whole day. Yeah, you'll be able to meet the demand with a bit more peace than you have traditionally. That's it, nothing there. So brains learn, or they unlearn. That's it. The other trouble with emergencies is that the human system often prepares for the next emergency even before it's happened. It gets into a loop or a habit of when's the next drama going to happen.
Learned behaviour based on
Learned behaviour, correct. And it's not acting on what's happening in the moment, in the real moment of now. It's acting on a loop of anticipation. And this is really what causes trouble. Emergencies happen. But this constant vigilance, it's called hypervigilance in psychology, this constant readiness of the nervous system for the next emergency, this learned response, is very toxic. And that's the real issue. And that learned behavior has to change so that you recover this quality. And when an emergency happens, you'll deal with it with a much more measured sense of ease, rather than this already prepared predatory brain that's always on the go. Okay, how are you doing on there? Good. You can see this isn't the same as the relaxation before sleep, because your brain isn't about to go to sleep. Often we only know the extremes of hypertension and relaxation of collapse, where you just want to pull the duvet over yourself. But this is a different quality. Why isn't this the same as the relaxation of sleep? What's different in your brain?
I feel like my brain's still quite active.
Exactly. It's alive. It's awake. Still active. But it's not doing something else that it would normally do, which is what?
Kind of switching off.
It's yes, that's right. So it's active, it's alive, but it's quite still. It's not buzzing around waiting for the next emergency. That's it. And then wait, I'm going to do the moving of the leg, hold it there, and I'm going to lift up this leg. Now we're going to do a maneuver of helping you off the table and keeping all this condition of ease going in the maneuver until you're sitting on the side of the table and then going for a walk. All right, so you're going to roll over onto your left-hand side in a minute. All of you is going to come this way. Head, shoulder, elbow, arms, hips, knees, ankles are all going to move this way, and I'm going to get you sitting on the side of the table. You'll see how it works, but I've got the weight of your head. I'm going to support you. You can just start to roll. That's it, and there, that's it, and the foot. And the other side, the other foot as well. Yeah, take the feet over the side of the table. That's fine. Yeah, good. And then I want you to use your hands to help yourself off the table. That's fine. And then don't change anything. That's perfect. And now you're going to walk to the stool. Yes. And you can stand here and now turn around and then sit in this chair in a second. That's it. Bend the knees. Fine. And then I'm going to move you a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further here, a little bit further here. And wait there. Yes. And that's it. And you can still look out of the window. Okay. That's your first Alexander lesson.
Thank you.
Any comments, any thoughts? What's your experience sitting there now compared to, say, sitting there 30, 40 minutes ago?
Well, I guess initially I was a bit apprehensive, and it's also quite daunting when you've got, you know...
all the audience, the invisible audience.
But I kind of forgot about them after a while.
You did, yes.
Yeah, and it was, it just felt less tense.
Yes, yeah. Good. Any questions to ask me? Or anything that pops in that you'd like to say about your experience?
I guess how it was quite interesting about how you were saying about the body and the brain and all that stuff, but how you apply that in life. I mean,
in life, it doesn't get applied because you've got something to apply. It applies itself over a course of lessons. And this mind-body experience you're talking about, this relaxed mind and fluid body, they're always together anyway.
So it's like kind of a synergy, but actually by delinking them almost.
In a way, it's a delinking. In a way, it's linking, because the more quiet you are in the brain, the more free you are in the body. So there is a link.
Yeah.
But what the delinking you're talking about is when stress happens, the body doesn't participate with a reaction of stress. In a way, that's a delinking or a detachment. But the body and mind are attached. So it's not cutting them into two. It's saying that your mind-body can remain...
creating like a harmony. Like
creating a harmony is a good way, a synergy, a balance, so that even though stuff happens, even though dramas happen and emergencies happen, your mind and body can remain in this condition of greater ease and freedom and fluidity, even in the face of life's emergencies. And that grows. It's not like how do you apply it. As a result of the experience you've had just now, you'll have more ability for this to occur naturally and spontaneously in everyday life. There's no tricks you need to have apart from a number of sessions where your mind-body learns that it can recover a greater sense of ease and freedom. And that's only through experience. It's not an intellectual idea. It's only experience of, oh, this is more relaxed, this is deeper relaxation, this is surrender. And you have an experience, and it grows. It grows over time, and that's the purpose of the formal Alexander sessions.
Thank you.
Good. Good to meet you.
You too.
Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you for the session.
Good. Okay.
Thank you.